Well, hello there, my Libra collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your soulmate reading for February 2020, though timeless, depending on when you catch it. I am your reader, Mark-Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, president of Joining the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and Venus in Libra. So welcome aboard. Let's see where this love boat is headed. If you are new to my channel, please do like and subscribe. Yeah, I wasn't expecting the Love Boat reference either. Come aboard, it's waiting for you. If you are new to my channel, please do like and subscribe. I am ever so close. Probably by the time you're watching this, it's possible that I might have hit it already. I'm not that far away from 1,000 subscribers, getting closer. Because I'm going to do this little thing when I get super live chat, which is what happens when you get 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to do this little thing called Drunk Tarot once a month for the first couple of months, just for fun. There's a video in the description box explaining what that is. But otherwise, I do plan on doing super live chat rather regularly because it looks like a lot of fun. And I have a Facebook group, the Mark-Angelo Lyons Mal for short Facebook group that I live stream in, not all the time, but a couple of times a week. So I dig it. I like the back and forth you can get with people that way. Cool, cool. Let's get down to business with this read, though. This is a general reading, right? It's not going to hit everybody exactly perfect 24/7, 365 every single time. So please check your other signs. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I still say I kind of get more because I'm a Pisces moon, Virgo sun, blah, 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 Leo rising. I just find when I watch the Pisces moon vids or anything for Pisces, hits me more intuitively, but that would make sense, right? So, yeah, just take what works, leave what doesn't, check your other signs. Cool. Now, this is a soulmate reading, which is a contract reading. So that's really, as much as we're looking at a relationship, we're looking at the foundational contract between two souls, right? The contract was written into the characters you embodied as, right? With the name and in the body that you're in. So you knew what you were getting to on some level, maybe not how it would play itself out, just like a video game, kind of, sort of. So we're going to look at where that contract is between you and someone who is a soulmate. Now, different than a twin flame, a soulmate contract can be really in any shape or form as a twin flame can, but the foundation is different, is you help each other heal. Twin flames are different. We'll talk about those when we get to them. I do not want to talk about twin flames right now. Rather, get that you have lots of soulmates in your life, people that help you heal, you help them heal, and there tends to be a symbiotic balance there over time, right? Symbiotic, satisfying, right? Very satisfying relationships. But these readings in particular are for the romantic sexual ones. The romantic, intimate, sexual, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise relationships that we've been healing ourselves for and learning about psychology and the inner child and healing our relationships with our ancestral lineages and all this stuff, right? So that's what these contract reads are for, which is, I think, what the majority of people on YouTube want to know about anyway. So, you know, you go where the market takes you in that sense. Cool. We are going to be looking at, like I said, like a contract. So instead of saying party A and party B, we're going to say divine feminine and divine masculine, because that's what people seem to be resonating with. I prefer divine yin, divine yang, taking it out of gender entirely, but this is the West, so we're going to use that language. Has nothing to do with biological gender at all. I consider myself divine feminine. Big shock. Let's see, gay purple-haired card reader on YouTube? Nah, right? But it takes a lot of masculine energy, creativity to do this. So we all have that fluid balance of yin and yang, inner and outer. Cool. That being said, the only thing I'm going to ask you to do is to be conscious of your breath as we go. I have to be. Keeps me in the present moment, keeps the energy flowing through me, and allows me to find the still point where the divine resides. Like ringing an inner silent bell that just plugs me right in to whatever the divine wants to show to and say through me. just like that. Cool, cool. So let's dive in. Here we go. Deep breath. All the cards that I read are in the description box below. Still point. Here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please. 2 cards, one for the divine feminine and one for the divine masculine. One for the divine feminine, one for the divine masculine. That's what I meant by 2 cards. Clarify, not like I haven't been doing these readings all day. Please show us who they are in this Libra collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate contract for February 2020 or timeless. One for the divine feminine, please. One for the, no, that's 2. One for the divine masculine. Yeah, I'll see if they come around. I saw what they were. We'll see if they come around again. Keep my eyes closed. One for the divine masculine, please. And we'll see if that's it in a minute, if I saw it correctly. All right, here we go. Now, before I reveal our happy couple here, our soulmate couple, keep in mind they might have met already, they might not have met yet, but with these cards, we're going to be looking at the shadow, what they're dealing with, what they have to heal in their own lives at the moment, and the light, that which they are heading towards, which this soulmate contract is about help. They're going to help each other heal this, even if they haven't met yet. Like, that's the thing. It's a soul contract. There's stuff going on in the invisible, on the soul level, in the quantum field, whatever you want to call it. So it may trigger you. It's okay if it does. Just take note, right? Because the shadow is supposed to trigger you. It's the stuff you don't want anybody to know about, and you don't want to look at it yourself. So, ready? Here we go. Who's our happy couple? Oh, how fun. How fun, how fun. I like these 2. Well, I'm going to say the divine feminine, but I want you to hear what I have to say. Don't freak, because it's the card of the fool, but not the idiot. This is the divine fool. This is like the fool in terms of the court jester. This card has not come up, I think, in a very, very, very long time. And think of the card of the fool in the tarot. Right? It's the 0 card. It's the everything and nothing. So this is a very, very powerful, powerful card. Now, interestingly enough, the Fool is part of the divine masculine family. I know. The archetypal families are fascinating and interesting. I studied a lot of Caroline Myss in my life. I adore her. And a lot of Jungian psychology as well. So, so very interesting. A masculine archetype in the feminine position, the feminine, divine feminine side of the board. And for the divine masculine, the poet, which is the creative family. That makes sense, but honestly, so used to seeing these reversed. So that's what I mean. It's like, this is nice. This can be really, really sweet, because the fool is by no means an idiot, but is, we'll see. Let me read the attributes, you'll get it. So the shadow attribute, remember, is supposed to be a little triggery. It's the toxic stuff. The divine feminine fool in the shadow, using humor to wound rather than liberate. Happens every day. Denial of your emotional truth, right? In other words, kind of using humor to deny what's actually happening to you, not as a means of healing, but as a means of repression and obfuscation. In the light attribute, fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy, right? Along with, as well, I have to say, the whole, see, in the ancient court systems, the fool was the only one that could speak truth to the king and not get his head cut off, because he could do it through satire, you know, and humor, hitting himself with a bladder in the head, you know. Oh, knocked me over with a bladder. Bladder on a stick. So you sort of get that there's a real fearlessness that comes with this and the ability to speak the truth. But if you look at, for instance, I mean, I don't want to go specific comedians because it gets political, but there are certain comedians that are able to talk politics in a way that is so funny, right? That it's not that it takes the truth out of it, but they can get away with it, right? They can get away with it more, and that's just one example. Although we're getting way too sensitive about words anyway, but to each their own. I'm a Gen Xer. I got tough skin, apparently. through years and years of abuse. That would make sense. So for the divine masculine has the poet archetype. And, you know, I'm not a poet. I'm a wordsmith, so I can relate, sort of. The shadow attribute turns a lyric gift to negative or destructive effect. So someone who could take the gift of rhyme, of storytelling, and actually do harm with it. I mean, not just limericks. Limericks are fun, but to be able to take a lyric and destroy somebody with it, right? That's a tricky thing. The light attribute expresses soul insights in symbolic language. So very, very interesting couple we have here, and yet what they both have in common is the element of air with that verbalization, right? Like these two archetypes are very verbal, right? The poet, obviously, but the fool as well, using humor. Yeah, sure, slapstick and stuff, but certainly a verbal art, right? All right, so we've got our divine masculine, divine feminine. You may not be able to tell which one you are. We're going to go deeper. We're going to take 5 daughters of the moon and 5 mythic tarot, do an element spread, fire, earth, air, water, spirit, to get more info, to see where they are, what you'll see. Just breathe. It's easier to just show you. Plus, so many of you have seen me do this spread so many times, and it is my favorite. Really good. Nice deep breath. My air signs. My goddesses, please, the voice of the collective divine feminine. We'll do top 5 cards. Top 5 cards, please, for this Libra collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs involving, here we go, this divine feminine fool archetype in this Libra collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign soulmate contract for February 2020, though timeless. February-ish, I like to say. Please, my goddesses, top 5 cards. Element of fire, what does she want? Element of earth, what has she got to help her get what she wants? Element of air, what is she thinking about it? Element of water, what is she feeling about it? Element of spirit, what's the point of view of her soul? The soul insight, please, my goddesses. Yes, I hear you. Clean cut, I beg of thee. Maiden, mother, crone. You can't, I mean, I don't know if you could see, but that last second that card dropped down, so I'm going to take that as that's our first card, the element of fire. Let's have at it. Divine feminine fool, what you want? Baby, you gotta reverse yourself what you get, right? Well, or at least that's what you want. You want to let go and let God. You want to see things differently, let go and let Goddess. You want to do the hanged man voluntarily. You just want it's like, oh, I let go, I don't fucking care anymore. But remember, there is always an element of sacrifice as well here. Not a human sacrifice, usually an idea, right? Usually something we have to let go of is a point of view. Hence you turn yourself, well, if you're already upside down and you don't know it, then voluntarily turning yourself upside down turns you right side up. Right? Isn't that how that works? Something like that. So what I love about this picture is the face above water is like all contemplative and sort of like, oh, letting go. But her reflection in the water is smiling and peaceful, right? So there is a real thing of releasing burden, letting go, the act of spiritual surrender that's wanted here, but also to kind of see things differently. All right, I was told by a monk, this is a very long time ago, he said when you're in the rapids of a river, without a boat, just you kind of like swimming, when the water speed picks up, you can cling to the side banks of the river, but the current will beat the crap out of you and eventually make you let go. But if you just get to the center of the river, lay on your back and float, the river will take you where it's supposed to take you. Now, that's a metaphor for life. I don't recommend that necessarily in nature. If you know there's a waterfall coming, get to the bank. Trust me. Oh, you got to make a deposit. But there is something of that in this, right? To just kind of go with the flow and say, okay, whatever. I'm feeling that desire of the fool to just say, oh, I get this off my back, right? See this differently. Don't crack up. Bend your brain. See both sides. Throw off your mental chains. What's she got? The element of earth to feed the fire. second major arcana card. We went from the Hanged Man reversal to the card of the Hermit, the crone, the Kaliach, she who rides alone, the Hermit. So what she's got is some time on her own. Now, this is a theme I've been seeing in the reading so far. Granted, this is only the 7th one, but we're more than halfway through. And not only through the Hermit card appearing, but this thing of sometimes divine masculine, but usually both of them being somewhat sequestered. Now, maybe, I don't know, I'm in the northern and western hemisphere. I'm in New York. So it's February, it's cold, you know, I get we might be a little bit more internal, not as social, but it feels like an energetic trend going on. So people tend to be, even though in soulmate contracts, more having to deal with their own internal stuff, and you have to do that anyway. I mean, that's, your relationship with yourself is primary. Well, the divine within yourself probably more primary, but whatever, that's conjecture at this stage. But really, really feeling that Hermit card, she who rides alone, right? Taking the time to yourself. Use your alone time if you're the divine feminine watching this. That's what's going to help you see this differently. Often from perspective, because the Hermit, well, here she's galloping in the sky over a stone circle. Really does look like Stonehenge. But if you're used to the Hermit, you know, the old man, sort of Gandalf looking with the stick and the, you know, the staff and the lantern at the top of a mountain, goes willingly to a high point in order to see things differently, right? It's so funny, you go to the top of the lantern with a lantern with your eyes closed, so it's about insight. Definitely could be psychological release as well. All right, just letting go of an idea, of a pattern, of a thought. What's going on in the element of air here? Well, there's a lot of mind focused on the 9 of Pentacles, so financial independence, physical independence. The 9, not the 10, but I'm good, I'm secure. Not the 4 of Pentacles secure, but that 9 of Pentacles. It's like, yes, my bills are paid, I'm good, I'm happy by myself, and certainly that can be the thought while in Virgo mode, because it is the Virgo card, the Hermit card, right? Sort of like closing the door, raising the drawbridge, so to speak, taking some time to the self to really care for the self. And you know what? That can very much be the 9 of Pentacles too, come to think of it. The physical self-care, like the rest, rejuvenation, rehydration. We are in retrograde, so that's a really good thing to do for yourself. Of course, depending on when you're going to be watching this. We are in Mercury retrograde. So even the mind, right, that's in the mental position you absolutely can affect what's going on in your mind by taking care of your body. Hence, you know, manicure, pedicure, facial massage. Ugh, my favorite spiritual practice. However, can't get you all the way to enlightenment because spas have been around forever. We would have been way ahead if it actually worked that way. Alrighty, let's see what's going on emotionally here for the divine feminine. Meditation, an air card, right? The 7 of Blades, the air card in a water position really does say that there is a stilling and a calming going on as a result of the self-care going on in the mind. So whether this is literal meditation, or if it's more contemplation, then the contemplations of the emotions in this might be what's propelling this need to see things differently, right? To contemplate the way that she's feeling, and particularly about expressing, like fearlessly expressing emotions. Well, maybe she's really going in to take the leap to go deeper into her own emotional truth. Remember, again, I'm saying him or her. We're not talking about bodily gender. It's just a way of explaining the two beings here. And the voice of the spirit, 8 of Cups. Withdrawal literally says withdrawal in the card. So that's withdrawing into the self, not necessarily walking away from, going deeper into. Literally following a trail of cups into the cave. And some of the cups are knocked over. So perhaps this is some emotional healing work, going within to heal and deal. And that's from the soul, saying like, it's time for this, dear, right? The point of view of the soul. Come on, sweetheart, come on inside. It's time. It's time to go through the doors that you can only walk through alone and find for yourself what only you can find and give yourself. Yeah. Let's look at the divine masculine, shall we? Nice deep breath. Sorry, I took a break and I snuggled with my kitties, and I shouldn't do that, but they're so cute. And now I got kitty here, and one of them I think is clinging to my nose. I swear I'm not doing cocaine, I promise. Not since the 80s. Oh, reading cards in the clubs in Boston in the 80s. Flashback. Let's take a nice deep breath. We'll do it through the mouth just to be safe. That is the air element breath in through the mouth, out through the mouth. My gods, please, top 5 cards. Element spread for this divine masculine poet archetype in this Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising. Venus signed soulmate contract for February 2020 are timeless. Please. Fire, what does he want? Earth, what does he have to get him what he wants? Air, what's he thinking? Water, what he feeling? Spirit, what's the point of view of his soul? Please, my gods, I hear you. For this divine masculine, what's going on in this soulmate contract, February 2020, or timeless? Okay. What's he want? What's our poet want? Page of Cups. Interesting. Wants an emotional experience, but doesn't want, full dive. This is Narcissus. You may be familiar with the personality disorder named after, right? We were talking about narcissists, Matt Kahn said the funniest thing I think I've ever heard. He said they can't all be narcissists. I'm like, I'm not so sure. Seems to be boiling up out of the collective, like, pollutants being burned off, right? But this is the original, right? And by the way, it was cursed. He was cursed to fall in love with his own reflection, right? Which is funny because narcissists can't see what they're doing. They have no sense of self-reflection. So that aside, what are we looking at here? We're looking at the Page of Cups, an innocent, perhaps naive, perhaps desire for an emotional connection, usually to feel a new emotion, but in a way very self-absorbed. Now look, there is selfish, higher selfish, lower selfish. That's hard to shade, a lower selfish. The higher selfish is very much self-care. So this could be wanting to find love for self. I mean, that's a stretch, but if it is that thing, because the poet, needs to rejuvenate emotionally, right? If they're communicating from the soul, there's certainly that element of water in there. So it may be perhaps for selfish creative means, but that's not a bad thing, right? It's a creative thing. That's what artists need to do. So what's going on in his element of earth? The star, the card of inspiration and hope, right? The guidance and the grace itself, in my opinion, the most spiritual card in the deck. And in this particular deck, it's Pandora's box. All the evils go out into the world, but she holds on to hope. So has that hope, that guidance, that grace. So it does feel like these two are not relating right now. They may have never met too, but again, that's going to play itself out differently in the collective. I have to remember that I'm not reading just one person, I'm reading a collective. But definitely the feeling with both of these together is that there is a realignment going on a soul level for this divine masculine. Let's see what else hits the table. What's the element of air? Yeah, Four of Pentacles, thinking a lot about his physical security and stability, maybe shielding the heart for a little bit, holding back for a little bit, mentally at least, while really trying to reconnect. Maybe lost his muse, lost his vibe, lost his creative thread, creative juice for a little bit, has to find the inspiration, and we all do. Like, sometimes it's just a question of the nervous system being exhausted. It's hard to feel inspired and turned on and in the flow when your nervous system is exhausted or inflamed, right? When you're just pissed off at the world and just feeling horrible. So there's something here in the mind. The mind is being preoccupied, perhaps, yes, with physical stability in terms of paying bills. Poets paying the bills, I don't know, it seems a little ancient, that issue there. So something there to be looked at, that, maybe his mind is on his money and his money's on his mind. Emotionally, what's going on here? All right, so the emotions, feeling an emotional death in order for there to be rebirth. Now, I am feeling more of the death side here. A lot of people are going through this, particularly if there is any kind of financial strain going on. But keep in mind, what he wants is that deeper emotional thing. So in terms of a relationship, he might be hoping, holding on to hope. If they have met, probably is hoping that gets the chance to explore this. But with the Four of Pentacles, the money might be such an issue that putting him into the underworld with Hades, the god of death. Now, an emotional transformation will come as the result of that. Maybe full-on dark night of the soul, but I'm not going to say that in a general read. Could be a rough patch going through emotionally, or at least having to transform and alchemize. I mean, there's a lot going on there in the collective, I think, for everybody right now, in terms of the physical stability. Even if you got more than enough money in the bank, still what's going on socially, what's going on the planet, ecologically, there can be that sense of, like, just here's the, like, sort of like that, to try and bolster our sense of security with physical things. Not necessarily an addiction, but that thing of, this is mine. Not great. Not great, but very, very human, animal, instinctual. So what's the voice of, oh, lovely, all right. The voice of the soul here is the Three of Pentacles, which, granted, is the card before the Four. I know, mathematically, I know how that works. But the Three of Pentacles is saying, honey, you're building a solid foundation, but it's just a foundation. Right? You're not there yet. Give this time, because the soul is saying, divine masculine poet, you are in a 3. You've got the tripod. You've got all your ingredients. You've got everything that you need. Now really apply yourself. Put yourself to work. Start moving things in the direction that you want to create them in. Because emotionally, particularly for a poet, to go through emotional... Look, is it always about pain and suffering? I want to say, yeah, but what else could an emotional death lead to but an emotional rebirth, particularly of hope? And maybe this is just my personal opinion, but as much as I love Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves, she probably wasn't writing that from a place of emotional death and misery. If she actually wrote it, I don't know off the top of my head. I apologize. Please don't get angry at me that I don't know that factoid. But you know what I mean? It's like such good art comes from suffering, such good poetry, stuff that is a soul movement, even if not literally a poet, has that creative ability to express himself from the soul. And that's a beautiful thing in a divine masculine, the ability to artistically or even colloquially express their soul in that way. And it does feel like a divine feminine fool would be good with that, would be able to roll with that, unless really is in the shadow and would just cut them down. That's not a soulmate contract to me. That might be something you figure out early on in terms of boundaries and respect. But that's more twin flamey than soulmate. So let's go deeper. What are the healing angels with them, right? Healing with the Angels Oracle, Dorian Virtue. Let's find out. Nice deep breath. Because everything from here on out is pretty much oracle cards. We got our tarot skeleton down. Ooh, tarot skeleton. That's an interesting term. Oh, death card. Got it. So please, my angels, still point. My angels, please, 2 cards. One for the divine feminine, one for the divine masculine. In this Libra collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, soulmate contract for February 2020. Or timeless. One for her, please. What is the healing angel that walks with her in this soulmate contract? Face down, yes. And for the divine masculine, what's the healing angel that walks with the divine masculine in this soulmate contract? Well, friendship. Good. So, being friendly to herself first and foremost. I mean, we've got the Hermit card and the Eight of Pentacles, withdrawal, meditation. It's not that she's given up. She's given out what needs to go out to go in. So, but really more in a friendly place. Trying to find her friendly, perhaps, but that's like a wonderful thing. I don't feel like she has any animosity towards this divine masculine, in other words. That this is something that she's doing for herself that's really maybe not about anybody else. Now, if that's what his emotional death is about, I doubt that. Oh, what's going on here? Then they just need to communicate with each other. Then again, they might not have met. Now, this is odd. there's a way of interpreting this that I'm going to say, but then I'm going to feel what else is there. The card, the angel of celebration, because it's the angel of celebration, right? Like I was going to say, well, you're partying to deal with the emotional death and the insecurity while you're just, you know, the Page of Cups and the Star and all of that. But to say that there's something here to be celebrated that the poet may not be aware of. What I'm getting is really the emotional experience that he wants, even if it is and when I say immature, I don't mean that as a slight, like, oh, you're so immature. No, I mean like in its beginning stages, right, of emotional, because the pages do not necessarily take on zodiacal correspondences. Rather, they represent messengers of the element. So the element of water here really does highlight that there is a new movement of emotion that this divine masculine poet wants to experience, has the hope to do that, but is going through an emotional transformation that is to be celebrated. See, that's the thing. But is the mind too over-focused on what's going on in terms of physical security, which is understandable to an extent. And that's why the soul is kind of saying, but honey, really big overview, you've got a good solid foundation, work it. Work it. Celebrate what you have. Don't always wait to celebrate. Celebrate every day. I know, stitch it on a pillow, Grandma, throw it on the couch. But, you know, but that thing of at least kind of throw your arms up into the sky and say, thank you for that which I have. Let me celebrate who I am becoming through this. Because this, yeah, there's not feeling like there's too much communication between these two right now. And that's probably a healthy thing. But let's see what else comes to the table. Through the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, yay, 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 half the deck, the problem suit. The other half of the deck, the other three suits, luck, healing, and grace. Two problems, two of the other healers. Let's see how this goes. Nice deep breath. Still point. My Ascended Masters, there you are, please. Two of the problem suit, one for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine. In this Libra Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Soulmate contract for February 2020, or Timeless, please. One for the Divine Feminine. What is the problem that she's walking into this with or has in the present moment? And the same for the Divine Masculine. What is the problem? And while we are here, can we please do the same for the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine with a piece of luck, a piece of healing, or a piece of grace? Please, my Ascended Masters. There's the Divine Feminine. Please, one for the Divine Masculine. There we go. That was painless, we think. All right, just going to move you over just a touch. There we go. All right, we're going to start with the problems. Divine Feminine, what's the problem? Self-consciousness. This came up in the last reading as well for, it was either Virgo or Leo, I can't remember which, but for the Divine Feminine. So this thing of like constantly checking oneself, right? Oh, but also the self-reflection aspect of it, of going in. I understand going in. So the problem might be she might be feeling a little, and I'm going to use this word very lightly, foolish, kind of like she's not fitting in, trying too hard, maybe not necessarily with this Divine Masculine. Again, there's a good part of you two haven't met yet. So this kind of thing may kind of like feeling like hard to express her truths or trying to kind of do it through humor, that self-conscious humor, right? Self-effacing, self-conscious humor. What's going on with this Divine Masculine? Disillusionment. So that would kind of explain the emotional death, right? Like when you really have this idea of how things should be and it feels like it affected the physical stability of what was going on in this Divine Masculine's life. This just seems to be what they're going through. And really, in terms of relationship, that would certainly put a weight on things. Might be carrying disillusionment from past relationships into this one. Really not believing it's that's why wanting so much to have that emotional connection, even in beginning stages, if he can find the hope and find the star, there's something to be celebrated here. Although I get the feeling he's not making as much money or has enough physical security and stability as he would like. Again, doesn't matter male or female, masculine or feminine. I get that with the divine masculine stuff, and would explain certainly that emotional death card there. So what's the healing, the luck, or the grace for the divine feminine? She's got self-consciousness with the grace card of the grace suit. So whether she's aware of it or not, she is sitting right in the center of the palm of the hand of the goddess, of the divine, call it what you will, and that things are going to work out. Everything's part of the divine plan and the quantum, but to really understand that grace is the breath of the divine. It is what precipitates miracles. It's the divine substance, the mystical substance that transforms and heals. It's healing beyond reason. So you talk about what's a miracle. Well, it's something that happens that defies natural law. Really, that's what a miracle is supposed to mean. But here, grace is similar to that, is that it creates things that heal beyond reason. Like, we want to know the reasons why things happen, and then maybe they'll heal, where actually grace transcends even that reasoning process, because the gods don't truck in reason. That's a human creation. They truck in purpose and grace. Yeah, definitely something bigger spiritual going on here. Not because she's loaded down with Major Arcana cards. She's only got the one. Oh no, she's got the two. She's got reversal as well, the Hanged Man. There's definitely something going on here on a more spiritual bend. And I can say, honestly, with the star and the death card here for the divine masculine, that seems to... It's like they're almost going through personal initiations more than halfway through it, honestly. So what's he bringing to the table here? He brings to the table the healing card of receiving, right? Of being able to receive. Now, it's interesting. She doesn't look like she's in any condition to give right now, but that really does say, in a more spiritual, poetic, even artistic, creative sense, more open and receptive. So it seems like we have... could be very spiritually evolved divine masculine here, but I would think the key of identification here is that ability of the use of words, expressing oneself in some soul kind of way, like really speaking from the core. I mean, I have Mercury conjunct Venus in Libra, and I can do that. So if I was going to look at my own Venus in Libra, I would really be, I think, more on this side than this side. Though, am I going through emotional transformation? Honey, I'm a mystic. I'm always in the underworld in one way or another. So interesting. I might not actually be in this one then, other than that. We've got 3 more cards to go, though. Let's have a look-see-dooksy. The higher selves are going to give us 1 card each from the Whispers of Love Oracle, right? So a whisper of love from the higher selves of all involved. Please, nice deep breath. Still point. Oh, the higher selves of all involved. I guess that involves something too. Please. 2 whispers of love. 1 for the divine feminine, 1 for the divine masculine. In this Libra collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Soulmate contract. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, sexual, intimate, romantic contract for February 2020. Or timeless, please. 1 for the divine feminine, felt that one. Please, 1 for the divine masculine. I feel you're in the center of the deck. There you are. Got the divine masculine down. I love these. They come right out and say it most of the time. I'd say like 95% of the time. Aww, divine feminine got the card that looks the same on both sides because it's the card that says I love you. These are very important words. That's all it says on it. I love you. These are very important words. Divine Feminine, be saying that to yourself. I mean, we're going to get you a mantra card at the end of this from the KAHN mantra deck. But that is, it says literally, I love you. These are very important words. So whether you're saying it to yourself, to this divine masculine, to his face, through prayers, send him love, be the love. Be that Libra, right? Partnership that I'm going to love me and I'm going to love you, and I'm going to somehow allow spirit to be the center point, right? I love you. I love you. I love you. What's going on with him? New love. See, I think they're about to meet, or they just have. New love. Embrace this new opportunity of love that is here. This may pertain to work opportunities or spiritual growth. Well, I'll go with the spiritual growth thing with that death card there and that willingness to receive out of disillusionment with the card of the star. Sure, most spiritual card in the deck, in my opinion. But I think also this new love is definitely the two of them. So we've got new love and I love you. Aww. If they haven't met, it's going to be, I think, a very, very sweet meeting. But they're both going through a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see what the last card is here, which is the healing mantra. And I find these to be a little revealing in the end. So that's why, you know, I take a picture once the camera's off and I edit it into the video of the whole spread. So it's just this little card at the top center, but it does seem to kind of bring things together in a different context. So from the voices of the Ascended Masters, please, one last time, nice deep breath. Oh, it feels good. Still point. My Ascended Masters, please, one card in clarity for this. Libra Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Satisfying, sexual, intimate, romantic, soulmate contract. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, February 2020, or timeless, please. What is the ultimate healing mantra for these two? For February 2020, or timeless. I don't know what it is yet. One side of the card is the mantra, the other is the name of the mantra, so I can look it up in the bookie book. Otherwise, there's not much written on the cards, but they're gorgeous and incredibly powerful. Only one of them, so it doesn't matter whether you're the divine feminine fool or the divine masculine poet. Use this mantra. It's going to help heal both of you. You're going to help each other heal, because as one heals, helps heal the other one as well. You've got befriending pain. Yeah. yeah. Befriending pain. When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. And it's true. I will tell you from personal anecdotal experience. It is true. And it's so funny. We medicate our pain. Well, funny, haha, but funny, interesting, funny. That we run from our pain zone, and it's actually through feeling it, allowing it, which ain't fucking easy. That's death. That's surrender. That's a road only you could go by yourself as the hermit on. But it takes great hope to follow the guidance and grace through that. Ain't easy. But the only way out, essentially, is through befriending pain. I've had this one. This has definitely come up. Really saved my shit after letting go of a twin flame of 20 plus years. Befriending pain. Where'd you go? Just saw you. Befriending pain. Okay. When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. When you befriend pain, you are allowing limitations to be released from the cells of your body. Because pain is often the result of rapid transformation, death card, divine masculine. It is essential to make friends with it. Show friendship card. She's got the friendship card. See, that's what I mean. I love these. Because pain is often the result of rapid transformation, death card. It is essential to make friends, friendship card, with it in recognition of how quickly you are evolving. So when you're feeling pain, you go, all right, I'm evolving so fast it fucking hurts. Right? Expansion, right? Remember growing pains? I mean literal ones, not just the show from the 80s. It might be uncomfortable and sometimes really unbearable, but your most profound shifts in consciousness often occur once pain is befriended as an ally of your evolution instead of something, seeing it as the villain and running from it. Now, look, I ain't saying it's easy and I don't say you gotta like it, but there's something about befriending pain, I'm telling you. It ain't easy, but it works. This mantra is ideal for healing the body, mind, and soul on an energetic level, which is essentially, we're saying, the soul level here. So you will be able to help each other heal regardless of who you are in this by befriending your own pain. And what is the mantra for you? When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. Let's give you a lovely overview, shall we? Magic clap. We've got the Divine Feminine Fool in the shadow attribute, using humor to wound rather than liberate, denial of your emotional truth, which very well might be painful, right? Going back to that mantra, that really may be the central card here, not just in the picture, but in this reading, befriending pain. Moving her into the light attribute, fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy, that once pain is really moved through, you can look back and see the divine choreography of it and how absurd life is and how we deal with it when everything is actually working out for us. Hard to believe sometimes, I get it. Looking down particularly for this Divine Feminine, her element of fire. She's got the Hangman reversal, but it is voluntary, right? And letting go, seeing things differently, sacrificing a way of usually looking at things, a perspective, but perhaps even an attitude or an emotional stance, right? And she can do that by taking the time on her own, the wise one, the Kaliach, the crone, riding above it all, seeing it from a higher perspective from within herself. And what's going on in the mental there is that Nine of Pentacles, right? Wanting, thinking about wholeness, right? Having her own sense of stability, security, independence, self-love, self-nurturance, right? Girl, look at what you're eating. Look at how much rest you need. Really take care, self-care, self-care. And even in the emotional field, we've got the card of meditation, which, yes, can be about emotional contemplation for sure. But since you've got the card of reversal in your element of fire, what you want, certainly contemplating what you are feeling and feeling what you are thinking is part of that surrender process, particularly if you are befriending pain, going back to that the mantra card. And of course, the Eight of Pentacles in the position of the soul, really saying you're being isolated, you're being sent in, not being punished, but you are being sent deeper in, not just away from, in order to deal with the emotional pain of the past here, keeping in mind the card of friendship. And I really think that speaks to that card of befriending pain, being friendly emotions rather than hostile towards them. Looking at what the Ascended Masters are sending here, saying that she's walking into this soulmate contract, bringing self-consciousness, which, hello, is good to have if you're needing to go within to become conscious of something within yourself, but maybe coming from a place of insecurity, of not being good enough, of always having to check to make sure she's okay, and needing to let that go. And that card of reversal, see herself differently. And with the amount of grace, really, that is present in the grace card of the suit of grace for her, she's bringing that with us. She's got more grace in her and is more graceful than she realizes, and that's probably, someone who may carry the Fool archetype might not think of themselves as graceful, but there is grace at work in the humor of the light side there. And from the higher self saying, I love you. These are very important words. Honey, just make that your mantra. I love you. It's very Ho'oponopono. It's very Matt KAHN. Do the inner child work. Talk to yourself. Love yourself. And that will give you the ability to befriend your pain and then reveal and share your emotions fearlessly, but also in a way that is uplifting. Jumping over to the Divine Masculine Poet archetype, the shadow attribute, turns a lyric gift to negative or destructive effect. Be careful of that Divine Masculine when you meet, if you have not met this Divine Feminine first. She's going through something, so be a gentleman if at all possible. Again, I'm using gender there, but you know what I mean. Be kind. Move this as you can into your light attribute. Let's just say be on your best behavior. That's a better way to say it. The light attribute expresses soul insights in symbolic language, which can be very moving and very romantic and very healing unto itself. Considering that what he wants is the Page of Cups. Yes, a messenger of love, sure, but almost like those first innocent moments of like looking at each other across the room, seeing you across a crowded room, which is very romantic and very poetic. What he has to sort of get himself there is the card of the Star, that there is something destined here. There is a soul contract in play. This is what we're looking at, is a soul contract read. So to have hope, to follow the golden thread of hope through the labyrinth of these beginning stages of the emotional involvement, though on his mind is certainly something about physical stability and security. That Four of Pentacles, often seen as the miser, but also someone with a sense of security. So on his mind can be his mind is on his money and his money is on his mind, which with the emotional death going on, the emotional transformation, sure, that could be from grief to joy. And maybe that's possible, but really with that card of Three of Pentacles, I don't think things are as bad physically as he may envision them to be, because with the Angel of Celebration at the core of that, kind of saying that where he is in a good place, not to give up hope, but rather to embrace it, though there is some disillusionment in there. Now, if that disillusionment can be shifted to seeing that things aren't all that bad, right? To see that the fear is clouding the eyesight, so to speak, that could be a great thing for him to be able to be receiving, that things are actually really well in the larger picture, right? That he has all the ingredients he needs, now begins a new level of creativity. And with that healing card of receiving, it does feel like with that emotional death, he's sort of open. You know, we get to that place of like, oh, whatever, there's nothing left but dust, nothing left to do but rise, right, from those ashes. And with the higher self saying new love, embrace this new opportunity of love that is here. This may pertain to work opportunities or spiritual growth. Well, I'm going to say the work is inner work, most likely, because this is a soulmate contract of helping each other heal, and both of them with that mantra of befriending pain has to do the spiritual growth as well, like a growing pain. Which brings us again back to that mantra. When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. And if these two are not in a physical contacted relationship yet, communicating with each other, they are being prepared to, perhaps even walking through the crucible of their own inner transformation, absolutely necessary for them to be mates of their own soul first before being a soulmate to another. Pretty good, my Libras. Look, this is a tricky couple where they are right now, but I do feel this is all in preparation. Like I said, particularly a fool and a poet. There's something very symbiotic there, something very creative and supportive waiting to happen. Supportive, satisfying soulmate contract. Intimate, romantic, sexual, all of that together. Worth the wait and worth the work. Well, everybody's worth the spiritual work, right? So here's the blessing. May the Libra collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their satisfying, sexual, intimate, romantic, soulmate contracts for February 2020 and beyond. Timeless, that they may grow, that they may heal, that they may find the hope, that they may see things differently, that they may experience the grace and receive the highest and best of it all, so that they can be the highest and best versions of themselves, fulfilling their roles in the divine plan, fulfilling the soulmate contract, helping each other heal. Has a blessing for the well-being of all. So mote it be, and so it is. Wow, that was a lot, and I really did, this is a very realistic reading, if you really look at it, and a very, very sobering but important mantra. When discomfort becomes a friend, my most limiting beliefs are healed. And keep in mind, beliefs, element of air. We're air signs. Well, mine, Venus and Libra. Cool, cool. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Help me get to that 1,000, and I promise you really, really good stuff to come. I'm not quitting anytime soon. I'm having a field day. Cool, cool. So wishing you the very best and the very blessed as I sign off. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.